Well, you are listening to 107.1 The Peak, world-class rock here in what we call New York's backyard. And today, we're thrilled. We're thrilled. I'm nervous because we get a performance from Ondara. And welcome to New York's backyard and Mercy College Sound Studios. How you doing?
Good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm used to most pictures of you very Natalie attired with a fedora. And today, we're working a new look because you've got the new album coming out. Spanish Villager number 3. And it's coming out actually tonight. We're sitting here on a Thursday, but worldwide release is tonight. And this is your third full-length album. And it's a departure, but for me, a very happy departure. I think it's a terrific sounding, at least what I've heard so far. But you've got an acoustic guitar and you're going to play us some songs. I guess I don't want to do the origin story as much as, because on the first tour around, you told the origin story a lot. And it's a fascinating story. It's fantastic. But we should probably, why don't we get right to some music? And let's listen to a song that is not out there yet. There's been 3 singles that we've heard so far, and they've all been a little different and all fantastic. We're playing one of the ones you're going to play today. But why don't you introduce this first one? A Seminar in Tokyo?
Right, yeah, A Seminar in Tokyo. I think that's, I don't know if there's much I can say about it. It's it's a lot of the songs in this record and how they came together were sort of mysteriously subconscious, and in some ways I'm trying to figure out what they're all about as I tour and talk to folks like you.
Sure. Well, songs can be that way.
Sure.
Very often emerging from the subconscious.
Yeah.
And
I'll let you decide.
Okay. Well, how about we listen to it first? Here is Ondara from his brand new album coming out tonight, but by the time you hear this, it'll be out. It's called Spanish Villager number 3, and here is A Seminar in Tokyo on The Peak.
Oh, Lady Blue, you puzzle me. Things of the heart, they are a mystery. When I get back, we'll plan a trip downtown. I saw the news the other night. There was a boy running into the light. When I get back, we'll analyze his sound. Oh, and I don't wanna go with anybody else. I don't wanna go with anybody else. I don't wanna go with anybody else. Oh, downtown Tokyo, downtown Tokyo, downtown. I'm saving up for my return. It's been a month since I was around, and if I wake, I hope to see you once speak. Well, if the bells of Jerusalem call on the saints, I won't be one of them. I've been a wreck with no one to put me on check. Oh, well, I don't wanna go with anybody else. wanna go with anybody else. I don't wanna go with anybody else. Oh, downtown Tokyo, downtown. Oh, well, I don't wanna go with anybody else. I don't wanna go with anybody else. I don't wanna go with anybody else. Oh, downtown Tokyo, downtown. Downtown Tokyo, down. Oh, oh, oh. Even when I'm in Japan, oh, oh, always Minnesota time. Oh, oh, even when I'm in Japan. Oh, oh, always Minnesota time. Oh, oh, there is a monster inside my head. Oh, come on and poison me if you will.
"107.1 The Peak." That's Ondara here at a Peak Performance, playing a beautiful acoustic guitar and treating us to a song that heretofore has not been out. So we've just heard a couple of other singles from the brand new album Spanish Villager #3. Another album that you've done with Mike Viola, which is really cool.
Right.
And you've expanded the sound palette on this album immensely. There's a lot of different brushes and colors and musical flavors going on. Something you wanted to do, or just kind of happened that way?
Yeah, I think it's both of those things. It's something that I wanted to do, certainly, but it also just something that also happened just as a result of where I was at in my career at that moment, and I think I felt some kind of need to expand my sound somewhat. I didn't want to sort of keep recapitulating myself and making the same record over and over again. So it was time to do something different. It was a question of what was that different thing going to be. And I started writing some of these songs after touring with Lindsey Buckingham, and I started listening to a lot of Fleetwood Mac, and some of those Fleetwood Mac records were informative to me in how I could potentially expand the sonic palette of the songs to make them more expansive.
Well, you most certainly did, and it's dramatic to listen to. We're playing a Nocturnal Heresy, which when we first heard it was like, whoa, here's a new Ondara. But, I like sort of those dive-bombing guitar riffs, and the drums are a little bit more out front, and it's a really great sounding album, and I can't wait to hear the rest of it. So you toured with Lindsey early. I mean, do you want me to do the origin story? There may be listeners of The Peak that don't know exactly
I don't mind at all.
Where you come from. I might pull a Rachel Maddow on you and try to do the 70-second version of it, and then ask you, did I get everything right there? So, you were born in Nairobi in Kenya. And near as I can tell, you didn't speak English in the house. You were probably speaking Swahili and taking the occasional English course, and then you discovered, English and American rock music. And, it just seems impossible that you'd be hearing Radiohead and Nirvana and Death Cab for Cutie and bands like this on the radio in Nairobi. It inspired you in a very deep way. You went to Mom and said, can we get a guitar? And she said, no, that would cost you a month of dinners. Eventually, you applied for a green card and won the lottery, as it were. Got to Minneapolis on a very cold night in the middle of the vortex in February, and started sort of a new life with this burning desire to make music. Am I right so far?
That's pretty good.
Okay. Well, we're on the radio, so we have 70 seconds to try to tell a story.
Yeah,
and,
I think you know me a lot better than I know myself, almost.
It's a fantastic story, but I have questions.
Yeah.
Your English it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
It's nuanced in a way that I know a lot of non-native English speakers who are incredibly bright people who probably started to acquire English at about the age that you did. And somehow was it partially from, the poetry of Bob Dylan and just being so devoted to learning how to write and write lyrics?
It had a lot to do with it, certainly. Yeah. I was very bad at it, though. As a kid, when during English classes, I was so bad at English that kids used to laugh at me because of how bad I was.
Okay, your accent is a little British. It's almost hard to pin down exactly. I know that Nairobi, Kenya was an English province of some sort until 1962 or so.
Yeah.
Was that if you heard English in Nairobi, that's what you heard?
In some places, certain schools, certain circles. I think. I suppose that's probably where it comes from. It's sort of the leftover of the stench of colonization.
So then you get to Minneapolis, and it's very cold, and it's finally time to get a guitar. And I have another question. You're just a terrific acoustic guitar player, which is a hard thing to become. It doesn't happen easily. Was it just easy for you?
Was it easy? It felt natural, let's say.
Okay.
I was very hungry, I suppose, and just sunk myself in it. I don't remember it being difficult per se, but I think it's the kind of thing where when you're really passionate about something, because everything is, I think, the idea of something being difficult can be just it's a frame of mind in a way, because things are just generally hard, but if you stick with it long enough and you're obsessed with it enough, then you can master those things. So I think I was just obsessed enough with it that I just didn't stop. I kept playing and kept playing, and I think within a year or so I figured out how to accompany myself.
We are talking with Ondara here at a Peak Performance at Mercy College Sound Studios, and I think I heard someplace that when you got to Minneapolis, you figured, I'll just get a band together, and I'll sing, and they'll play. And
right.
You very quickly realized that this is going to be a little harder than I thought, so maybe I should learn how to play the guitar, and we're so glad that you did. How about we listen to another song? This is the one that we've been playing on the Peak, and we love it. We're getting tons of phone calls and great emails about it. I have to say this, when I read into comment strings on anything that you've ever made public, the depth of the passion from, there's zero dislikes and just comment after comment after comment of people that are, their life is a little bit changed. Crusty old music fans who have been waiting for in air quotes, a real musician to come along, and that you've been able to do that. And I know I feel the same way when I listen to your music. So how about you play us another one, a Nocturnal Heresy?
Right. She was always but a metaphor for my spiritual path. The moment I won't let it go, when I was moving too fast. Back then I was grown and I was young. All at the same time. My head was strong, but weak was my bone. Don't know how to say it, but I'm lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed. I'm lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed. Oh. She was always but a miracle, the scientist kind. Her man was a Neanderthal, with pain came design. Why then would you run? Are you one from the greatest love you could find? You were wrong to be all alone. Don't know how to say it, but I'm lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed, knowing it's the last time. Oh, I'm lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed. Oh, I'm lying with you in this bed, knowing it's the last time. Something of a sinner. I wanna be something of a sinner. I wanna be something of a sinner. I wanna be something of a sinner. When I'm lying with you in this bed, lying with you in this bed. Oh, I'm lying with you in this bed, knowing it's the last time. And I'm lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed. Oh, I am lying with you in this bed, knowing it's the last time. Oh, I'm lying with you in this bed. Lying with you in this bed. Oh, I'm lying with you in this bed, knowing it's the last time.
Well, we are here at a peak performance at Mercy College Sound Studios, and you just heard Ondara and his acoustic guitar playing us a song from his brand new album, Spanish Villager No. 3. And that's the song you're hearing on the peak on Nocturnal Heresy, but it might have taken you a minute to, figure it out with all the layers of it stripped back. The few couple of songs that I've heard from Spanish Villager have all kinds of instruments that we're not used to, drum beats that sound like Kate Bush and saxophone solos. And was it fun being in the studio making the new record?
Oh yeah, it was very fun. I didn't, I produced a lot of these songs myself too, and I didn't know what I was doing exactly.
Sometimes that's the best way.
Yeah.
I always ask producers, so can you tell me the secret? And they look at me and they say, does it sound good?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So did you work at Mike's studio out in Los Angeles? I know he's got one out there.
Yeah, we did some of the songs in Mike's place in Los Angeles, and some of the same team that we used in some of the songs in LP1. Some of the songs are sort of a continuity of LP1 sessions in a way, because we started like that song in particular. We recorded it, I think, right after recording songs from the first album. So there was sort of that thread of continuity between the connection that I had with Mike and the team that we were recording with.
Yep.
So I did some of those there, and then I recorded a bit in Minneapolis and a bit in New York and a bit in Paris.
Okay. Well, so far I don't sense any pushback from, people that might have, first heard you on Tales of America and then loved the, the folkier, the Dylan side of what you were doing. And I'm to assume that there will be a U.S. tour coming, although I saw a very funny Instagram where you basically, you're a wonderful artist and visual thinker as well and cartoonist. And it was sort of directed to your mom. Oh boy, what's going to happen when mom hears that? I'm not doing a U.S. tour just yet.
Right, yeah.
And it was like, no!
Right, she was quite excited about it. But yeah, I had a tour booked, but it was slightly ambitious for where I'm at the moment. I feel like I need to kind of recalibrate and gradually put my toes in the water, play a few shows here and there before trying something more ambitious.
Well, let's see. It started, in 2019? And the first album hit pretty big. Certainly with the public radio and NPR and in certain corners. And I wanted to ask you this question. Was it a little bit of luck that you ended up in Minneapolis and the local radio station there, The Current, which is just a terrific radio station?
Yes.
They actually opened up the envelope and they actually listened to it and they started to play it. And a lot of things happened subsequent to that.
Yeah, there is some kind of, some workings of the universe at play for sure, because I wanted to come to America for the longest time, and, after discovering Dylan, I became obsessed with the idea of moving to America, but there was no way to get to America. So I tried all kinds of things, applying to schools and all, and at some point I just sort of left it to the universe because it wasn't working, and I applied for the lottery.
Yep, and the green card popped up.
Yeah, so I think I'm sort of manifesting destiny. Whatever's happening is sort of just meant to happen, and things are aligning how the universe wants them to.
Now, do you still keep a place in Minneapolis and St. Paul?
I do, yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. All is well.
So, along the way, there's been accolades. You were nominated for a Grammy. You won the Americana Emerging Award, Artist Award. And so you say, though, that you wanted to pull back a little bit and just kind of find your legs again and start with humbleness might be the wrong word, but just let's take one step at a time.
Yeah, certainly. Especially with this record and in the way that I want to present it to the world, in the fashion that I want to present it. It needs a bit of recalibration. It's it's interesting because I made this record some time ago, and I'm not the same person I was when I made the record. So there's that strange dichotomy of trying to reconcile the person you are when you're presenting the record and the person you were when you made it.
Okay, so I sort of figured this was an album of more recent vintage, and I'm looking for a quote that I read so if you hear me shuffling papers, it's me not being as organized as I'd like to be. Where is that? Oh, I can't find it now. Oh, there it is. No, that isn't it. Oh, well, I have to give up on it. But it was there was a political side to it, too. You were saying that, having grown up in Nairobi, that you're sort of used to power being absolutely corrupting.
Sure.
And that sort of that the fact that we're always tribal, that we always tend to sort of segregate that way.
Sure.
And that money will always raise its ugly buttocks, as I think you said.
I might have said something of that sort. Sure, sounds like me.
And really, here we are. I don't do a lot of politics on the radio. I know my country has scared me a little bit in the last 10 years. It's like,
wow, you and me both.
What's going on with this? Meanwhile, now was America, growing up. Was it sort of the castle on the hill, the golden, had the halo over it, or did you sort of see it for what it was? And
no, I think for most immigrants, it is more like that. It's sort of this. I think as you put it across, castle on a hill. It's something like Canaan, the land of milk and honey. I think there's just a good sort of PR game. At play in sort of presenting and enforcing that image of America internationally, and that's why people always trying to move to America. That's why I wanted to move to America. But there is obviously the reality of it is different.
Yeah, no, my wife comes from marketing, and I always chide her, that marketers are too good at presenting an aspirational version of America sometimes, and how about some reality? So the new album is how many songs? It's I can't count them, and all of the titles begin with ah. So we heard a seminar in Tokyo, we heard a Nocturnal Heresy, and this next one we're going to hear is called Blackout in Paris. What can you tell us about it?
Well, my last show in Paris, there was the lights went out, the whole block.
Okay.
So I had to play about 20 minutes of the set in the darkness, in a packed room, and it was very, very strange, but very intimate, and the crowd helped me sing the songs. So it's just it's somewhat of an inside joke between me and my Parisian friends and fans in a way.
Well, it's cool, and there was actually one other thing I wanted to mention is the nature of your voice is such that, the falsetto is disarming when it happens, but there's something about the sonics of your voice that would allow you to probably carry a pretty large room, and you could almost hear it out in front of the PA system a little bit, and it lives in a range, and it's really cool. So, well, now that we know the backstory, how about we listen to the song from the new album? Here's Ondara with a Blackout in Paris.
Growing fond of the old men, growing fond of the yellow sky, growing fond of the moment, growing fond of the smell of blood. Eyeing you in the city, haven't you heard the plague's coming around? There was one on the many, riding dragons in the town, while you're waiting for your lover to come around, while you're waiting for your lover to come around. Everyone you ever knew escaping town, while you're waiting for your lover to come around. To come around, to come around, Bowing down to the new Lord, bowing down to his wretched son, pledging not to be frugal, pledging not to never understand. Are you new in the city? Haven't you heard the plague's coming around? There was one on the many, riding dragons into town, and while you're waiting for your lover to come around, while you're waiting for your lover to come around, everyone you ever knew escaping town, while you're waiting for your lover, waiting for your lover to come around, to come around, to come around. To come around. Send me a message from the desert. It's an oasis. Go
read the data. All of the masses have departed. What was the market scorn? While you're waiting for your love to come around, while you're waiting for your love to come around, everyone you ever knew is skipping town. While you're waiting for your lover, waiting for your lover. While you're waiting for your lover to come around, while you're waiting for your lover to come around, everyone you ever knew is escaping town. While you're waiting for your lover to come around.
107.1 The Peak. There's Ondara at a peak performance. Grammy-nominated Verve Forecast recording artist with the brand new album Spanish Villager No. 3. And that off it. And by the time you hear this, the new album will be out. I strongly suggest you go find a copy of it. It's terrific. And I want to thank you for coming and saying hi to us up at Mercer College Sound Studios.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
A little backstory here. Normally you're Natalie, attired and there's a fedora. And today we have lighting and cameras and everything. So our listeners are going to actually see what the heck I look like.
Sure.
I'm here in Sotto Vox. I'm all... So anyway, it has been a distinct pleasure to meet you and just continued success. And thank you so much to Sam and everybody at the studios here for making this great. And to your label for bringing you up here. Good luck with the show tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And the eventual tour, and we will see you on the road sometime. Ondara here at 107.1 The Peak. Thank you.
Thank you very much.